What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome back to another video here on Peg City Hockey and another chapter in our Trotz Watch. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very big update with the Barry Trotz situation with the Winnipeg Jets. This is coming from Jeff Hamilton earlier today on Twitter while I was at work, so again, apologize for covering news when it's been out for a few hours, but nonetheless, let's jump right into this and talk about what Jeff Hamilton has to say about the latest updates with Barry Trotz and the Winnipeg Jets. But before we do that, if you haven't already dropped a subscription and a like, make sure to do that. We're almost at 2,200 subscribers. If we could get there, we only need 10 more subscribers. If you haven't already subscribed, drop a subscription right now. It's a great way to show support for the channel. Regardless of the team that you root for, it's great to check out other fans' opinions from time to time. So without any further ado, let's jump in to the news day and go through this tweet from Jeff Hamilton because it's very, very interesting and very informative. This is also being redirected through Spinorama Hockey on Twitter. They're a great account that is Jets fans as well, just covering basically Jets news and other news in the NHL, so go and follow them. But nonetheless, let's talk about this 4-tweet thread. So, on Winnipeg Sports Talk, Jeff Hamilton said he's heard that Barry Trotz has already agreed to terms of service with the NHL Jets. He thinks maybe it's True North that's holding it off. He's even heard that there's already been talk as to who could possibly join his staff. So, ladies and gentlemen, according to Jeff Hamilton, Barry Trotz is basically on the doorstep knocking and the Jets won't let him in, or they haven't finalized the deals enough to let him in yet. They're just working on that welcome party. They're like, you know what, Little Brown Jug beer for life, that's a great offer, but we gotta sweeten the deal a little bit and get these finite details ironed out before they make that announcement. And also, I think it's very Winnipeg Jets, history and just a thing of them to just do one press conference and announce all the new staff instead of, hey, this is our new coach, and then a week later, hey, this is our new assistant coach, hey, this is our new secondary coach and defensive coach, and blah, blah, blah. They want to do it all at once, probably. That's my guess. So, I'm pretty happy with that. So, without any further ado, let's switch over to the second tweet in this thread. And the potential candidates include head coach of the Edmonton Oilers and the WHL, Brad Lauer. WHL Oil Kings, one of the best teams in the WHL. Brad Lauer has a pretty good coaching track record when we go over and look at it in just a second, but nonetheless, the other candidate as well is Brock Shahan, he's the head coach of the Chicago Steel of the USHL. And basically, as you guys can see at the bottom of that tweet, Lauer is Trotz's guy and Shahan is True North's guy. So right now they're having a little bit of a back and forth on what type of staff and direction they want to go with. Obviously, by the sounds of this tweet, it's Barry Trotz wants full control of the Winnipeg Jets and the roster and the lineups going into it, and the Jets are probably having a little bit of a hard time because Trotz will probably want to make change. And what did the Jets not have a good track record of doing? Making the changes when you need to make them, not 3 years down the line when Paul Maurice says, fuck it, I give up and walk away from the team. But nonetheless, this is a good list. Let's talk about Brad Lauer real quick. Let's go over to his coaching stats. As you can see, he started his coaching journey with the Kootenay Ice back in 2002 and was the assistant coach there and was an assistant coach in the WHL from 2002 to 2007. Then he was an assistant coach in the AHL with the Milwaukee Admirals. Then he jumps over to the NHL in 2009-10 for 2 years with the Ottawa Senators as an assistant coach. Then back to Syracuse with the Crunch in the AHL, again, another role as an assistant. Then he has 2 years in Anaheim, 3 years in Anaheim, 2 years with the Tampa Bay Lightning, and then since 2018 has been the head coach of the Edmonton Oil Kings, who recently this year just won the WHL championship and lost in the third round in his first tenure with the team. So honestly, guys, this is a great track record. Especially the last couple of years, he goes from being an assistant head coach since 2002 all the way to 2018 as an assistant playing in the WHL, the AHL, and the NHL. Now he's back in the WHL where he started his career, and he's got great coaching stats down there. Let's go over look at Brock Shahan as well. He is a bit of more of a newer coach, which again, I am all for because young new coaches that don't have that much experience in the NHL, I think would be great for the Jets. Let's bring in something new and try something new. You go and look, he started his tenure out as a coach with Notre Dame as an assistant, and then he was an assistant as well with Holy Cross for 2 years in the AHA, and then he was an associate coach with Holy Cross as well for another 2 more years in the AHA again. Then he has spent the last 4 seasons with the Chicago Steel, where last season they won the championship, and this year they lost in the first round. So again, really good winning coaches as of late in other leagues of hockey in North America. I am really happy with that. These are 2 good candidates to have behind the bench with Barry Trotz. God damn it, we went from having Paul Maurice and Dave Lowry and Charlie Huddy to potentially having a makeup of something like this behind the bench in a few months. in what half a season or whatever it was. So I'm very happy with that. Now let's jump over to the other Spinorama tweets and finish out this thread. So he continues to talk about how comfortable Chevy and Chipman will be with giving control of the roster to Barry Trotz. Hamilton believes the roster would look significantly different if Trotz became the head coach, and the draft will end up being a very interesting day. He thinks this is probably what's holding up the deal on True North's end, which again, I totally see, because the Jets, they don't like a guy coming in and meddling with what they have, especially if it talks about trading and shuffling up that roster. From what I make of that, and this is just my speculation, Trotz would want to go with a different direction with the forward core probably. I would see maybe a guy like Scheifele potentially getting moved. If not Scheifele, maybe another type of forward. God forbid a Nikolai Ehlers. I don't know what the makeup is there. Maybe even Blake Wheeler. I don't know. But the thing is that Trotz likes veteran presence up front. Now, he doesn't use them as much as Paul Maurice does, but he likes veterans on that roster, and he doesn't just put prospects in for the sake of putting prospects in. So I think what this really comes down to is the defense is something that he wants to shake up, as well as maybe potentially something in the forward core, and the team is very hesitant on that because the Jets like to sign guys long term and keep guys that want to be here. They don't want to trade guys out and potentially have guys walking away, or trading out a guy on contract and having him only for a couple seasons for the return and whatnot. So this makes perfect sense to me. And to finish off this thread, Hamilton also says that he's heard that Derek Lalonde from the Lightning assistant coach, who is almost a done deal to be Detroit's head coach for next season, which eliminates Detroit from the Barry Trotz stuff if this is true, which I believe Jeff Hamilton's a pretty respectable source in the hockey world, especially with the Winnipeg Jets related news. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we have a a lot to take in, a very interesting news day, and a lot to take in with this. So basically what I can concur from this as a Jets fan is three things. One, True North wants Barry Trotz to be their coach. Without a doubt, Trotz is who they want to be the coach of the Jets. Two, Barry Trotz wants to do things with the Jets that the Jets don't obviously want him to necessarily do. Now, that is something that obviously makes a lot of sense. Like I already said, the Jets don't like change, especially all at once. They've never been a team to have that much change, and even when they've had success, it's been all at once, and then they haven't been able to really handle it, because look what happened with the Western Conference final year. We had a fantastic year. Next year, lose in the first round of St. Louis. Then what happens? We lose to Calgary in the play-in rounds, and then what happens? We somehow are able to sweep Edmonton just to get reverse swept, even though not a real reverse sweep, but I call it that because you don't sweep one team and get swept by a worse team. It's a reverse, but nonetheless, we lose to Montreal in the second round, and then this year we don't even make the playoffs. It's been a decline since peaking. We need new change. We do. So this organization is hesitant for the change, and I respect that. I get that. But that doesn't mean it's, that should be what's holding up this deal. If the Jets and Barry Trotz want to make things work, you have to be accepting of change. 100%. I don't think there's a single Jets fan out there. Now, you don't have to agree with trading Scheifele and all that, but if Trotz wants to coach here but wants control of the room and control of the team, he should have that. If Paul Maurice was able to have so much say over the lineups and over everything that went down with this team, why would you not want to have a new voice in there? Because clearly it didn't work with Paul the last couple of seasons. I think that the Jets will shoot themselves in the foot if Trotz walks away because they won't give him control. Now, I don't know what the issues are there, if it's Chipman, if it's Chevy. I assume it's mostly Chipman not wanting him to mess up with what they've got going, even though with what they got up going, had them playing golf before the first round even started. So I don't know if it's necessarily something you want to keep up for next season. But as a fan of this team, as a fan of Barry Trotz, and as a fan of these other coaches that have potentially linked to this team, how do you not just pull the trigger on this if you're the Jets? Take a chance, bring in some elite coaches, and shuffle up the lineup a little bit. Make some changes and try to retool, because this isn't a rebuild situation. Retool with a new coach and maybe a couple changes, and maybe trade someone out of the draft. I don't know. We have 2 firsts now. We have some trade assets. Let's make some deals. Let's bring in some new coaches, and let's get this thing done correctly for next season. I want the Jets to be good next year. I want the Jets in the playoffs next year. If they lose in the first, I'll be pissed, but at least they got there. Better than this year playing golf before the first starts, like I've already said. So I think this is all a lot of good news, and this is like we're on the doorstep. Trotz is knocking, guys. We are almost at the finish line with this race. Every other team has dropped off, and the Winnipeg Jets are standing there ready to shoot themselves in the foot, basically, if they don't take this deal. Now, I trust Barry Trotz, and I do trust Chevy. I do. I trust this organization. As a fan, I want to, even though I know I'm hesitant of it. So I'm putting my faith in them to do the right thing, because everything is lined up. You have a royal flush at the table, and it's your time to win and go all in and not fold. That's a bad analogy, I know, because you're never going to fold on a royal flush, but it's the Jets we're talking about. Nothing would surprise me. So at the end of the day, this team could be amazing next year. They really could. just make the right choices and sign Barry Trotz and bring in these damn coaches, because god damn it, that would be an amazing coaching lineup, and already with a good forward core with just needing some tweaking, and Cole Perfetti being healthy next year. So I'm excited with this news, and you guys should be too, but also just a little cautiously optimistic, because I swear to God, if they don't take these deals and they let these guys walk and we end up getting some shit coach, I want pitchforks and torches in front of MTS or Canada Life. Seriously, guys. I do. So with that being said, let me know what your thoughts are on all this news breaking from Jeff Hamilton earlier today on Twitter and on Winnipeg Jets Sports Talk. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Peace, love, and positivity as always. Like I said at the start of this video, drop a subscription, drop a like, and check out all the affiliated links down in the description below. Have a great rest of your day, ladies and gentlemen. Go Jets, go! And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.